Jake Sisko has to have some Idanian pudding. Sub-Commander Tarul doesn't want friends, but Michael Eddington does. And the Siskos finally are starting to consider this Cardassian monstrosity to be home. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
Right? It's starting to be home. Deep Space Nine. My name is... Sorry, I forgot to say, my name is Ryan T. Husk, and we are reviewing Season 3, Episode 1 of Deep Space Nine, called The Search, Part 1, directed by Kim Friedman, the legendary trailblazing female director, Kim Friedman. And now, without further ado, so sorry, this Cardassian monstrosity is home. How cool is that?
It is cool, and I think that it's funny how Jake got right into it as far as he precisely pinpointed the moment when we started to consider this home. Yeah. And he even has the time. He said 1,700 hours. I think it happened last Thursday, 1,700 hours.
Yeah, which sounded like a smart-ass response at first, but it turned out to be actually true. It wasn't just like, oh, right about 5:15 yesterday. He's like, no, that's really it. That's honestly when it was.
Right, and he gives a good explanation for it. You know, you're packing your stuff from storage. I liked how he was like, yeah, Dad, the most, antique African art collection ever. Yeah, I've heard that story 1,000 times, Dad. But I liked it. I thought it was a good moment in which we get to see the Siskos kind of like settling in and accepting this place as home. Mm-hmm. The other thing I'm getting a big feeling for now in this third season is the dominance of Sisko's presence and character. He's really starting to come out now.
It's coming now.
Yeah, he's firing on all cylinders. He's taking ownership of the station. He's really asserting himself in this beginning of this third season and towards the end of the second season. And we started to see Sisko really become like the commander/captain, which he's going to eventually be known as, right? And I liked this episode for those reasons. Once again, getting a lot of the play on character relationships and building the dynamics of the interrelationships between the main characters. We saw a lot of we saw Quark and Odo and Kira.
Odo lost it, man. Boy, the shit's starting to hit the fanny at this point. Because Odo was not ready for Quark. He was not feeling it, man. He did not even want to hear a word from him.
Yeah. I don't want any of your mindless blithering, I think. Something to that effect. Or something like that.
It was like prattle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. I think that was one of the... Well, anyway.
Oh, that's the scene where he comes in and he's roommates with Quark, right?
Yeah.
I think he goes. He's like, I've been in this solid state for 16 hours.
Right.
Can't wait to liquefy, buddy. So just leave me the hell alone. And he really has a big.
Quark's like, are you coming on to me? He's like, I gotta liquefy. Like, whoa, dude, don't look at me.
Let me give you some privacy, man.
And he said, I don't want you gawking at me.
Yeah, like turn away. Odo's patience are really short in this episode, and he's getting his moment of in the sun too, as well. As far as we see him kind of acting out of character in this episode, and he's being drawn by this desire to visit this place, which we're going to find out is his homeland, right? Mm-hmm. And people like him. So I think that they've been building this up really well, all the way back to when Quark was doing business with the Jem'Hadars.
That alien
with the Tulaberry wine episode, right?
Yeah, what were they called? Like Kamarians or Kamarians or something like that. The Karema and the Tulaberry wine, yeah.
Right. So, and that was, I don't know how many episodes ago, but they dropped that nugget so far back. And here now we're picking right back up on it. And I like the continuation of it. I also like the way that these episodes are rolling into each other one by one. So they ended with the cliffhanger on the last season. And now we're picking up right where we left off. So we're getting the continuous storylines starting to really pick up a lot, as opposed to these standalone episodes. And they're bringing back little gems that they dropped in, from before. So I like the way the writing is piecing together at this point.
Right. Also, before we get too much into the meat of the story, there are a few things to start off with. In that first minute or two, we have 3 new characters introduced. We have the new security officer, Michael Eddington.
Yep.
We have Sub-Commander Tarul, I think was her name. And we have the Defiant, just kind of like a new character, you know what I mean?
Right.
But all 3 of those things were introduced in the first minute or two of the 3rd season, to where they go, okay, this isn't your grandfather's 2nd season, buddy. We're playing for real. But then, yeah, actually the female changeling too at the end was introduced as well. Salome Jens, I believe is her name.
Taru, I think, is the Romulan.
Correct. Yeah, Tarul. Sub-Commander Tarul.
Yeah, good appearance by her in this episode. She comes along for the cloaking device, right? Like wherever that cloaking device goes, I go. We also got kind of a letdown for Odo as far as, conversations happening behind his back that he wasn't privy to. And, that was offensive to him.
He did not take that well either. He's got a little too much dignity to have that kind of crap done to him,
Yeah, I understand what's going on, Commander. He made a great line that I think was really good. It just summed up his feelings for this episode. What did he say? Commander, I don't require your understanding.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking for your validation. I don't need
Basically, yeah, he told him where to put that understanding.
Yeah, put your little pity party. I'm not here for it. I'm not interested. I like that.
Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention is I feel as though we may have gotten a record number of NAMs in this episode. We had, by my count, 4.
Tell me about him.
Quark did 2 in one line. He
Right.
said, Rom only has a son to worry about. That's Rom and Nog. Rom only has a son to worry about. I have a business. When he was saying that's all. I've got a whole business to worry about.
Yeah.
So there are 2 there. And then right after that, Sisko says, and this was one that we should have been paying attention to more, a little bit more at the beginning, was he says he spoke with the Grand Negus. And I realized we should be keeping track of the Grand Negus NAMs too, because he gets mentioned sometimes. And
he does.
Another one, but I was like, there's no way we can keep track of this one. You know who probably gets the most NAMs of anybody in Deep Space Nine? Curzon. Because Dax is always saying, oh, Curzon would always say this. And Sisko's always like, oh, well, remember when Curzon, I'm like, dude, if we start trying to keep track of the amount of times that Curzon gets named, because we do see him in one episode, like the 3rd or 4th episode. But like, if we try to record all those now, he's going to have like 50. Yeah. He's going to,
he will lead the league, because he's almost, every time Dax is mentioned, something about Curzon comes up.
Oh,
usually.
But even that wasn't, so I didn't really count that one, because I'm like, I don't know if we can really do that every time. But there was a 5th one, which was Jennifer Sisko, who who was it? Who was telling Benjamin Sisko that they hadn't seen him that excited about him, or I didn't think you'd be as passionate about anything since
that was Kira's character.
Yeah.
Kira mentioned that when he was saying that if the station falls, then Bajor falls, and I will not let that happen. It was during that monologue.
Yeah, I thought I put it in my notes, but yeah, you're right. She definitely says, look, I didn't think that you'd be this passionate about something after, Jennifer died. And so that's another one. Jennifer gets the NAM. So that's like, a record 4, even if we're not counting Curzon.
Yeah, and I enjoyed the scene with Odo and Sisko when Sisko's convincing. Quark and Sisko, when Sisko is trying to convince Quark that you need to come along with me on the Defiant. And I think Quark says something, says, there's no way you can legally force me. And I thought that was...
I know my rights.
I know my rights. You can't legally force me. And I was like, oh, that's a little clever little throw in there. And then, of course, Sisko has the trump card, because he's got the Grand Nega's staff and he's spoken with him. And obviously the Ferengi can't disobey the Grand Negas. So I thought that was a good little scene before getting into the seriousness of what was about to come. And the other thing I really enjoyed was when Sisko says, aren't you forgetting something? Right before Quark is about to leave. And Quark...
That was so funny.
Oh, yeah. When he has to kiss the staff, I thought that was just like... It was classic. It was a classic moment.
Yeah, I think that was one of the trivioids that I was like, I can't use that one. I was going to say, Sisko makes Quark kiss his knob or some kiss his staff. I was like, I can't. I'm like, it's funny, but I can't just sit there with a straight face and be like, Sisko makes
No, you
Quark
just
kisses.
did. You brought it up anyways. It's still entered.
Still lingering?
It's still lingering now that you mentioned it. But yes, he does make him kiss the staff. And the funny thing is, the kiss that Quark gives, it's like this really reluctant, he walks up to it, and it's just a funny way to kiss the staff, I just thought that was a great scene between the two of them. And this episode had so many different things. It was moving at such a quick pace, right? They got the Defiant. The Defiant was cloaked. It was right up against the ship, 300 meters inside the defense. It was one by one. It was just like, okay, here, boom, 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 boom. You had Dax and O'Brien basically left for dead for the Jem'Hadar to catch. Sisko faced with that decision of whether he should stay or go. And Bashir's like, Commander. He can't.
Very good. Yeah, that was. That sounded like an Odo. That sounded like an Odo Bashir hybrid you did right there. Odo Bashir.
Yeah, it was a little bit something. Yeah. But I just liked the way the pace of it was, and you had all these moments of conversation, but it still moved at a really quick pace. There were so many things happening. Obviously, the Defiant coming in just changes the game for DS9 basically from now going forward, and makes them a legitimate contender as far as being able to defend themselves. So this is a crucial piece for them. It's also allows them the ability to explore and go outside of the station more. I think this is a big storyline opening up fork in the road for DS9. This is where it really begins to blossom. And you can see that playing out with all the aliens, and now how serious that, we have the Vorta and all of these other aliens kind of getting introduced to us at such a rapid rate, including the Founders. So I think that they've left us wanting so much more now after this first episode in the third season.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed kind of along that line was that we got a lot of pairings. You've got O'Brien and Dax off over here. You've got Odo and Kira going off on their mission. It's really cool. It's like everybody's going everywhere and all these things are happening. I guess Michael Eddington is the only one staying behind. right? I mean, good thing they introduced him, because otherwise, because they took everybody off the station. So they're probably like, we need somebody to stay behind. Otherwise, who's running the station? Who do we have? It just Bajoran McGee, is running.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice too, jumping ahead a little bit, but this was the first time that Kira was a little softer towards Sisko. Like, remember in the first season when she first came out, she was guns blazing. She was like, "Who are you? I suppose you want the room back, the office back," and she was just like a bat out of hell. Second season, maybe a little less. This first episode of the third season was the first time I saw Kira being not softer in general, but softer specifically with Sisko, as if she was talking to a friend, not as talking to a superior and not talking to an enemy, how she kind of talked to him at first. But even when she was upset, like when she said, I think the line was, "What's wrong with Starfleet? How could they do this to Odo?" When she said that to Sisko, that's when it really jumped out at me, because that was the first time. Normally Kira would say like, "What's wrong with Starfleet? How could they do this to Odo?" Like accusatory and angry. But instead it was more like she was venting to a friend. She's like, "What's wrong with Starfleet? How can they do?" She was more like confiding in a friend, like, "What's going on?" And that was the first time I've seen, maybe it happened before, but that was the first time I noticed a change in the dynamic where she's not yelling and accusing him, but she's confiding in him and venting to a friend, is what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, and just I noticed the same thing, and now that you're voicing it out, it's clicking for me in a different way. And one of the things that I saw was, normally it would have been, "What's wrong with you?" As if he was the problem, right? He was the one ordering this to happen, and he's the one that was allowing this to happen. So what's wrong? And instead she took the blame and laid it to Starfleet, and basically said, "What's wrong with them?" Knowing that, excluding him out of now the blame and the responsibility of having to follow orders. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. And the other moment that I would add to what you're saying about the softening up of Kira's character is, I thought she showed the same kind of nice vulnerability when she approached Odo and said,
Right.
I'm Bajor has requested your presence.
Yes.
And Odo catches her completely lying to him, and he's like, "Yeah, right. I don't believe that. I don't believe they would ask for me." And pulls her card, and she softens up and opens up, and she says, "Yeah, maybe I'm your friend. Maybe I'm just trying to help you like you helped me. Maybe."
And personally, I love that Kira. I like characters that are much more, multidimensional. And, at first she came out guns blazing, which was cool. It was awesome. It was different. It was fun. But I like the Kira that's more layered, that can turn on that fireball up to 10 when she needs to, but that she still confides in the people that have now at this point earned her respect and earned her friendship, to where she doesn't need to be like that with everybody. She can show somebody that she cares about them without feeling vulnerable or whatever, and beyond just, professional respect, but more on a personal level. And I really like that about Kira, as part of her evolution.
Yeah, and let me add to that. I loved Nana Visitor's portrayal of Kira on this show from beginning till now. And as much as I would advocate for my own appearance on a new Star Trek show, because I would love to be involved with a new Star Trek show, I feel like she has earned her entitlement to be featured again in some capacity on Star Trek. And I feel
that's
like
a great point. How cool would that be if they do pass by like Deep Space Nine and she's there?
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. I think she's earned the respect of everybody. She really is a trailblazer as far as being a strong female character in the show.
Right. And Dax was a trailblazer.
Okay. Yes.
I tried to stop myself.
Yeah, so you couldn't help it. But I think she is deserving of finding herself on a new show as on a guest appearance and
totally.
reprising her character. I think she has earned it, and she has been a phenomenal character. Her acting is just amazing, and I do like the way that she's able to balance being a tough badass and also being soft and sensual, or
right,
not as dominant and more.
Plus, she's such a wonderful
caring.
Human on a personal level. Like, the actress herself is such a great person that it's another one of those people that you root for, that you hope, that if she wants the job, we hope that she gets offered it,
Yeah, I think she has sold the Kira character for me. I like even in the beginning of this episode, she goes into plan of action mode when they're talking about the Jemadar coming. And she instantly says, yeah, we can set booby traps, we can hide in the conduits. And she goes right into survival mode of basically where she came out of, right? This being a mercenary, a soldier for her cause, a freedom fighter. So she goes right into the tactics of the freedom fighter. Like, all right, this is what we have to do. We're gonna rig things to blow up. We're gonna set booby traps. We're gonna hide. We're gonna, and I like that. She clicks right into that when the moment comes. She's not afraid to fight.
Mm.
And then also when the softer side comes out of her, when she's like cares about her friend and wants to know how Odo is doing and is concerned about it. So I think there's a lot of, she plays the full spectrum as far as I'm concerned, and she does a fantastic job as Major Kira Nerys.
Yes, sir. So we're going to take our break in just a couple minutes, but before we do, we wanted to kind of just point something out, not to be missed, is that our friend Mr. Aaron Eisenberg passed away a little over 7 months ago. It was the day before we were to shoot the first episode of season 2. And, we obviously went on a little hiatus, and then we carried on without him for episode 1 of season 2. And we are now on episode 1 of season 3, meaning we have now officially done an entire season without Aaron. And it just kind of made me, kind of reflect a bit on, kind of how far we've gone and what we've done, that we just did an entire season. And, there's not a day that goes by that I don't wish he could see us. You know what I mean? Like, he would laugh at us, at our jokes, or he would laugh at us more than anything.
That too.
And I hope and I think and believe that he would be very happy with everything, that not just that we're doing, but that the supporters and our fans are doing. Everybody's been so positive and having so much fun, and everybody's really being really cool with one another, So I just wanted to kind of reflect on that a little bit. Can you believe it's been a full season officially, 26 episodes?
Yeah, and not a day goes by that we don't miss our friend. And, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So he is the kind of the glue that brought us all together. And we can never thank him enough for, creating this opportunity for us to be reviewing the show and being in contact with the fans, continuing the legacy that he wanted to have created. So I'm thankful for what Aaron has done for me and for this show. And I was sad because we were, I was looking so much forward to finishing this review of DS9 with him and kind of taking the journey with him and seeing how our relationship kind of grew and became what it is today. And there's so many flashbacks and memories every time they would have a scene together in that first season. It reminded me of the beginnings of where everything started for us. And as now we continue to go, we see how far Nog's character grows along with us. And we just really appreciate what Aaron has done for us. We keep him in the back of our minds and in the front of our minds as much as we can. And now, yes, we have done one full season. And one of the heartbreaking tragedies of losing Aaron right before the second season, first episode, was, I was so, just like you, looking forward to getting into the meat of the second episode and starting this thing with him again. And we didn't get that chance. So now that we've gotten 1 year in, it's I really thank Aaron for pushing this idea and making it happen.
Yeah, he's missing the better episodes. He had to sit through the crappy ones.
Yeah,
he was a real trooper to sit through the crappy ones with us. But now, he sat through all of Discovery with us, which was great. We talked about the Orville a little bit. We went through the entire first season. Now we've done an entire second season without him, and looking forward to many more fun and awesome seasons. So we'll talk about it a little bit more at our free-for-all later on at the end of this episode, but we better hit our break real quick, and then we'll come back with the trivioids, the rejected trivioids. But always put a thought out to Aaron Eisenberg, friends. Anytime you watch this show, always remember that Aaron's the guy that made this happen, and he was the glue. So we'll be right back with the seventh rule. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the seventh rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello,
My name is Ryan T. Husk. We are reviewing season 3, finally, of Deep Space Nine, where everything's getting good. Episode 1, The Search, Part 1, directed by legendary director Kim Friedman. Quickly, the trivioids, rejected trivioids. Here we go. Sisko brings back a little surprise for the Dominion. I shouldn't have rejected that one. I like that one.
That was a good one.
The Defiant has teeth. Sisko says that as well. 3 new characters. We covered that. Sub-Commander Tarul doesn't want friends, but Michael Eddington does. Oh, sweet. Jake, Sisko has to have the Idanian pudding. We know that one. Oh, we didn't even talk about your scenes. Sisko's consider. We got that one. Sisko makes Quark kiss the... Yeah, we don't need to go over that again. Quark offers to put Sisko in touch with several reputable interior decorators. Odo isn't interested in Quark's, quote, witless prattle.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and Sisko ditches Dax and O'Brien on a planet.
Sure does. Rolls out on him.
He's like, let's get out of here. Wow. Anyway, let's get back into it.
Yeah, and that Romulan character was so cold. She's like, the mission is not to save these 2 expendable disposable. Yeah, she said, that's not the mission. And Sisko actually agreed with her. He was like, yeah, I guess, she's kind of right now, as much as I hate to say it.
Do you remember eating that pudding in your scene, by the way?
I don't remember eating that pudding.
Oh, blast. Was it?
I would have liked to know. Was it a vanilla-like pudding, a banana-like pudding?
What's your favorite kind of pudding?
Banana pudding.
I had a feeling, because when you mentioned banana pudding, I'm like, who would mention banana pudding unless they actually like it?
Oh, yeah. I'm all over that banana pudding.
Really? I've never had it. Sounds gross.
Oh, God, it's so good. With vanilla wafers. Yeah.
I want chocolate pudding. Just give me chocolate, dude.
Oh, no. You got to have banana pudding one day. It's delicious. I thought you'd mention the Omarion Nebula. You didn't?
Right.
That wasn't one of your trivias, but... I'm going to throw that in there.
But you're right. That's where they want.
Yeah. Odo wants to visit the Omarion Nebula.
He needs it. Like he's like all.
Yeah.
And then when Kira says, she says, you should have set a course for the wormhole. He's like, you didn't object to it at the time. And she's like, I was unconscious.
Exactly. Exactly. I like that line too. And that was a little clever thing. And, you could see that Odo really has this urge, right? He's so out of character that he's actually willing to abandon everything to go, to get to his objective, which is discovering this planet. Another person that kind of went on his own way was Quark. I thought that was interesting. Quark's like, yeah, leave me here, and I'll find my way back to the station. I got some negotiating to do.
Yeah, I was kind of like, really?
Isn't this the same guy that didn't want to go at all?
Yeah. He's like, I'll make some profit.
Yeah, don't worry, they won't bother me because I'm padding I'm lining their pockets, so I'm safe. I really like Sisko's performance in this episode.
Yeah, the writing is starting to adjust to him now and making him, before they were making him, I think they were making him more of a run-of-the-mill commander, just a nice guy who's raising a kid, lost his wife, this and that. And as things progress, they start to write him as, okay, maybe he's got a little edge to him. Maybe he's kind of tough. Maybe he's a little brooding. You know what I mean? And he starts to really sink into his character and have that gravitas,
I think so, and I feel it more so than ever in the beginning of the season. He's really taking charge, and he still keeps that playfulness that I like. Like when he makes Quark kiss the staff, he's playful about it. It's like, aren't you forgetting something? And it's almost jokey in a type of way.
I thought he was lying to him because after he left, he kind of had a smirk like, I didn't think he'd really do it or whatever.
No, no, I think he knew the tradition but he was, the way he was doing it, it's a little bit level of coy to it. And I thought it was well placed. Because it just makes it takes away a level of the seriousness. Even the scenes with Jake, it allows Sisko to be something other than the serious, okay, let's take evasive maneuvers and this is my ship and I'm going to do something about stuff right now. It takes him outside of that zone and puts him into a more, laughing place where he's smiling or considering other things, and he seems more personable and human in these kinds of moments.
Totally.
Right?
Hey, when you watch Deep Space Nine and you see Jake Sisko, and I know you were really young when you did that, do you feel like you're watching yourself, or do you feel like you're watching Jake Sisko and you kind of have to remind yourself, oh wait, shoot, that was me?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy because I watch it. I don't feel like I'm watching myself as much as I feel like I'm watching a character.
Right.
It was so long ago, and I'm so much different than I was then as far as its appearance and stuff. But it's unusual. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird to it.
Yeah, it would seem like since you were so young when you did it, it would almost feel like a different world away, where you almost kind of have to remind yourself that that's you, because it's not the adult version of Cirroc Lofton that's acting in these things. Otherwise, you could just look and see yourself. It's like a completely different person, totally different time, it seems.
It is, and that's why it feels like almost a lifetime ago. It almost feels like when I watch it, I don't think, oh, that's myself, and let me look at my performance. I'm just watching it almost like a third party, just looking at it like, this is the scene and this is what it is. But I do try to see if I can remember those moments. And it's not easy to remember specific scenes and specific days that you were filming.
26 years ago, man. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. And the stuff that I'm seeing sometimes I feel like I'm seeing it for the first time. So that it makes it even more unusual for me because I'm actually watching some stuff for the first time, and it's like, oh, okay, this is what I did. This is what it looks like when on the other side of it.
Yeah, I think it was when I was on Orville Nation on their podcast, their live podcast. I think they asked me, how did they put it? I think they some kind of question as to when you're watching is Jake Sisko is Cirroc like Jake Sisko or something to that effect, right? And I thought about it. I was like, when I'm watching Deep Space Nine and I'm watching Jake Sisko, I'm not seeing Cirroc Lofton at all. I think they were saying is there Cirroc in Jake Sisko or whatever it was, something like that. was like, I don't really see. I mean, I'm aware that that's Cirroc, and I remind myself that that's Cirroc. But when I'm talking to Cirroc now, I'm not going like, oh, this is such a Jake Sisko thing to do. I mean, like, you are, to me, seem like a completely different person because you were a kid there and you're acting like somebody else. And it's so far removed from who you are now, 25 years later, that I really honestly see very little, you know, Jake Sisko in you when I'm talking with you. It seems like, and I think that's a testament to you because, you know, we can't live in the past. We all grow up, we all evolve, we all change and become our own person from who we were when we were 14 or 15, you know? So anyway, I thought, you know, I hadn't thought about that until they asked me, but, and I think that maybe partially why you kind of you said you wanted to take a break from acting a little bit is because you kind of wanted to put that away and get started in a different direction, you know, at least at first. But anyway.
Yeah, that was a big part of it. You know, the word typecast is something that floats around Hollywood a lot. And that means, you know, if the studios see you in a certain light, that they can't get that out of their head, you know. So they always see you in that particular role, in that particular type. So being typecast as a child, when you want to move past that and get to the adult stages of your life, that was the thing that I wanted to overcome and kind of move past. So it was one of the major factors for me kind of walking away from the business and doing other things, because I wanted to put that distance of time between me and the child version of everything that I did. Mm-hmm. Now start a new fresh page on the adult.
Totally. It's like
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's kind of like musicians like to do. They like to, between albums, they like to redefine themselves. You know, they don't want to come back and keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Next album is coming. They want to like take a break, you know, go to Venice or go travel the world or read a book or do something that kind of like changes who they are, evolve their music, redefine it, and then come out with something fresh and something new. And that's kind of like similar to what you were doing.
Right. And this is it's a creative art form that does move, and it progresses, it changes. I've changed. But one thing that I do notice when I do watch Jake is I see now elements of my daughter in Jake. And that's what blows me. That blows me away more than anything else.
You just blew my mind, man. That's awesome, really.
Yeah, so I see like facial expressions that I make and the way I would say dad and different things. And my daughter does the exact same things. You know, she doesn't know she's doing it, but I can see myself in her when I watch Jake. And so those are the funny moments.
But now for Final Jeopardy, then do you see a little bit of yourself now in Ben Sisko? Like, do you feel like anything that you saw in him back in the day, you've kind of emulated a little bit, or maybe the writers wrote something for him that now you're like, actually, I kind of say that now too, you know?
Yeah. Because I was so influenced by Avery growing up and just being around him and his personality, the way he talks, the way he thinks. He's really a deep thinker. And those are the things that I kind of now start to gravitate towards. So I'm more now actually looking similarities in Sisko's character than I am in Jake. And those are the qualities that I would like to emulate more so, you know, now that I'm an adult, the leadership skills, the communication skills, those kinds of things that are, you know, a more adult oriented beliefs.
That's really cool. Sorry I took us off track so much, but it just kind of popped in my head. I don't know, something you said made me think of that. That's really fascinating. That's really interesting. And it, you know, Avery's a great guy, obviously, to emulate. Not only is he a deep thinker, he's supremely talented and gifted and extremely creative. He can't draw as well as you can, but
no, but he's a performance artist, and he can do that. He can do that a lot better than I can. I've seen his stage plays, and he has blown me away in his performance of Paul Robeson, for example, and other things that I've seen him do in person. A Satchel Paige play. I've seen him perform opera. He is far more accomplished than I am in that respect in the performance art. So I wouldn't even touch that. But that's the thing that I'd like to emulate, and that's the thing that I've seen about who he is as a person that stands out as, you know, special to me is his intelligence, you know, his abilities, his talent, and also the way he carries himself.
Right.
He's never been a guy that's been in the headlines for, you know, acting crazy. He's never been caught out there doing something crazy.
That's a good point.
He's very
no scandals.
No scandals.
Squeaky clean.
I mean, the most that I've heard people say is, you know, oh, Avery's difficult, or, you know, he's hard to talk to. I've heard those kinds of things before, but I've never heard his name being associated, for example, with treating somebody poorly. He's never called people out of their name or talked down to people or try to pull rank on people. I haven't seen that. He's been an extra gentleman around women, for example. You know, we were going through this Me Too movement and all these things that are popping up about what people have done in the past. And I can say, with my own experience over the 25 years of plus knowing him and being around him, I've never seen him act inappropriately with anybody, talk to them, you know, inappropriately. He's very respectful. And even when he sees somebody that, you know, who I would consider attractive because they're, you know, my age or around that, he would always call them child. You see, you know, child.
Like Kai Wynn over here, huh?
Yeah, kind of like that. And it was, yeah, he would do that.
But a little more likable.
More likable, and it wasn't like it wasn't saying it to you know, in the way that Kai Wynn would say it, which is very
condescending.
You know, condescending. But, you know, he would say it in a way that is like, you know, you're a child. I'm 30 years older than you. I'm 20 years older than you. You know, and to me, you're a child. And I always liked the way he handled himself and carried himself in that kind of respectful way, and dealt with people in a level of intellect that was, you know, appropriate.
Right. Well, that's great. I'll always love to hear that kind of stuff. Let's finish up on this episode here, because I do remember something that we were supposed to talk about, and we haven't yet, at least not in this recording. But last week we had director Kim Friedman on, and she was telling us all about her favorite scene. And we finally got to see that favorite scene, which is when the Jem'Hadar board the ship and they attack, and there's all the steady cam movement and all that. I don't know if were you watching for that? Did you pay attention to that? Remember?
I watched for it, and I was looking for the exact one she was talking about, but I'm pretty sure that it was in this episode. Yeah. And she was talking about the shaking not matching the movements of the people. Is that what?
That was once she said that was the thing that she liked the least. One time there was a scene that happened that, you know, that she didn't like. I didn't see it. All I saw was the scene that she said she liked the most, which was when the Jem'Hadar come and attack the ship, and there's all the fighting that ensues, and and Bashir has his action moment where he goes, "He's gone, I'll take the helm," and we're like, "Whoa, Dr. Bashir!" We're like, "Oh, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. He's gonna crash.
We're gonna die either way."
Yeah, he's gonna crash us into an asteroid.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool action scene, and she said it even won her some awards. That scene, you know, all the action that was going on, and the Jem'Hadar and the fighting and the steady cam work and the angles and all this movement going on. It's really cool, you know.
And such a tight space too, because they're aboard this very smart. The bridge of that ship is so small, right?
Right.
And the Jem'Hadar pop up, and it's such a confined space to have so much action in. I think that I started to think about Kim's words and, you know, her experience. I also would say that, you know, kudos to her for now being the person that not only gives us the Jemadar, but also gives us the Defiant. So,
right.
you know, she has been part of the unveiling of not only this alien race, but also this Defiant, which becomes such a critical piece to DS9 going forward. So they really entrusted her to do a lot of building on the show. And she did a fantastic job, I think, of this so far, these last 2 episodes, because I have been on the hook. And after even watching this episode, I almost wanted to sneak a peek into The Search Part 2, because I wanted to see what was going to happen, you know? And that's a sign of a good show, is when you want to see what's going to happen next, right?
You want to skip ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to skip ahead and kind of look and see, and my curiosity is now fully, you know, up, and my antennas are anticipating some good action coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's so much. And also the introduction of the founders too. By the way, you know, they all kind of come up in the Great Link, you know, and Salome Jens pops up and says, "Welcome home." You know, yeah. I was trying to remember. I knew she was going to say "Welcome home," but I was like, is she going to say "Welcome home, Odo," or just "Welcome home"? And she just said "Welcome home" because obviously she doesn't, or maybe she does. No, I don't. I thought she knew his name, but I don't see how she could. So she must not.
So, yeah, and I don't even know if Odo would be the name she would know him as. He probably would have a name that, you know, he was born with that's different than what they called him on the Cardassian station.
Like all their names should be like water things, like "Hello, my little droplet," and, you know, here's Splashy Pants over here, and Mr.
I would think that all their names would be pronounced forward as well as backwards the same, just like Odo's name, you know?
Oh, like palindromes, huh?
Yes. Okay. So
I can't think of any others other than Odo.
Oh, there would be an Eve. Eve is one.
Okay.
Ava.
Uh-huh.
That's all I can think of at this point.
Yeah. Dad
for names. Mom. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
But a little shout out to you know, Sisko reveals a lot to us in this episode, at least about the conversations that happen between Starfleet and their executives, right? We're not privy to what the commander and Starfleet talk about, not usually, unless they want to go in there. But he kind of goes into his conversations that he's having with Starfleet and how Starfleet feels about Odo, right? They want me to get rid of him 2 or 3 times. They've been asking me to get rid of him, I think he says.
That was interesting, yeah. That's right, he did say that.
And it gives us some insight, like, okay, so Starfleet doesn't like Odo's presence. They think he doesn't follow protocols.
And Sisko's going to bat for him.
And Sisko's going to bat for him and saying, no, I'm not going to get rid of the guy. I like him. He's doing his thing. He's effective. But he goes to bat for him, but then he also kind of throws him under the bus a little. He's like, Starfleet likes team players is the quote that he said. Yeah. And he says, Starfleet likes team players, and so do I.
Yeah, so that's a good point. That's an interesting thing because it tells us exactly kind of what's going on. Of course, they're like, who is this shape? I think a lot of it, too, has to do with the uncertainty. They're like, we don't really know this guy. We don't really know where his allegiances lie. I mean, because he worked for the Cardassians, who are our enemies. So
we don't even know what alien race he's from, so we don't know, you know, the behavior type of the kind of people that he's from, right?
Yeah, he's such a wild card.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so we get a little bit of background on that, you know. And we didn't realize also that Odo was really longing to have some kind of identification of who he was. You know, he needed some validation of where he came from, who he is. It reminds me of people who grow up as adopted kids, and when they get older, at some point, some people decide that they want to find out who their biological parents are.
Sure.
And it reminds me what Odo is going through reminds me of that same desire that adopted children have. It's like, I want to know where I come from. I want to know where, who my parents are, and I think Odo is suffering from that same kind of void in his life.
Yeah, he wants to go to like ancestry.com is what he's trying to do here.
And I really liked Odo's facial expressions when he finally does see the woman come out of the water. He sells to me like, he's like, what's going on? He sells that look. I mean, like 100%. So
awesome.
I really like the acting in this show.
So we're just about out of time here. We're going to jump into the free-for-all. We'll talk about this a little bit more, and I think we'll talk about Aaron a bit more. But before we go, we want to give a shout-out to our awesome associate producers, Yvette Blackmon, Rex A. Wood, Dennis Koch, Commander Homer Frizzell, Eve England out in Wales, of course, Dr. Marie Segal, and Rob Hoffman up in the north. Lots of non-appearance mentions, too many to name, but it's a close one. We'll give you a hint. It's close between Rom, Jake, Nog, and Keiko. Those are the leaders. Anyway.
And I also want to say thank you to everybody out there that's been supporting my sister's line of clothing and the mugs and everything that people are buying. Thank you very much for your support, and I hope that you're enjoying your product as much as I am.
There it is. Abyssinian Kiosk. You can check it out online. Just Google it, or you can check it out on Instagram. We've been posting it here and there, Cirroc and I. It's around. We'll put it also in the description box of this video. Check it out. It's really cool. It's really awesome, and it is Cirroc's sister doing it because she's super creative like her brother.
She is. She's awesome, and I she's putting in a lot of work, and I think everybody out there supporting. It means a lot to us. So thanks very much, guys.
It's awesome. Thanks, guys. Great. So stay tuned for the free-for-all, and until then, always remember the 7th rule. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the 7th rule. This is the free-for-all, and we are talking football. So since we can't talk about the draft, since this will show up a week late, so all of our answers will be wrong, let's go around the table and say who our favorite football team is. Starting with Cirroc Lofton.
Me? My favorite football team? Oh, that's a good one. Can I say, it's funny because I said this before and I don't say it all the time, but I have become a fan of players more than of teams and organizations. Mm-hmm. And I give a background on why that happened. I was a Chicago Bulls fan for the longest time. And then when they let
it was Bill Wennington, wasn't it?
No, it was it was Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls, and they let the dynasty break up. They didn't pay Scottie Pippen, and they let Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson leave. And once that happened, I pledged my allegiance to the players and not to the organization because the organizations were poorly managed. So, having said all that, the players that I like the most, I do like the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Mahomes. Yeah,
Mahomes.
He got a ring, that guy.
Yeah.
What about you, Kat R. King?
What's that? What's Chelsea? Oh, sorry. We're talking about American.
We're not talking soccer.
Ball goes.
I thought this was going to go so much more smoothly than this.
Oh my good, it sure did. Because when I was in the military, I was stationed near San Francisco. We used to go and open the Candlestick Park for the Niners. So,
good. Niners, here we go.
So I have
a
close relationship, and they blew up the park. So I'm a free agent, now. I hope all teams lose. I don't know. I wish everyone the best in their round picks in the draft. When people say draft, I run the other way because I'm like, no. I volunteer for my service. I don't get voluntold.
Don't volunteer.
Okay. I'm a WNBA fan though. So if I'm going to talk about any sport at all, like basketball, I'm biased toward. I'm biased toward the Chicago Sky because associated with someone who played for them, so that's why.
Oh, that's cool. Homer, I'm 49ers, by the way, all the way.
Nice earbuds.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Thank you.
Good call. Good call.
Homer, you are Philadelphia Eagles, yes?
Yes.
We'll forgive you for that.
Did they won
Speak for yourself.
Or did they win?
They won a Super Bowl.
They won a. They did win a.
More recently than the Giants.
Hey.
Oh.
One is one. That's all I can tell you.
Rex
When was that last one?
It was a while
The
ago.
90s.
Rex A. Wood, are you a Browns fan or Bengals?
This is really going to kill you, but I'm the true nerd here. Football?
Oh,
Football.
Yeah, that's like me.
We're not shocked about the first part.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But no, I mean, if I had anybody, it would be the Bears.
Okay.
Originally from Chicago, the Bears. So
Okay.
yeah, it's the Bears.
The
you know.
Bears.
Bears.
And Marie?
But yeah,
I
that would
hate football, but I'd have to say Packers since I'm from Wisconsin.
Ooh,
Great. The Green Bowl
Oh, you're from
Packers. Got it.
Wisconsin originally?
a little bit of the cheese head going
I do
on.
not like football from Wisconsin.
Have you been to the Dells? Did you ever go to the Dells?
Do they have anything else in Wisconsin besides football?
No, not at all. Oh my gosh. So when I did
Craft
I went
beer.
to med school there too. And when
Harley
I did
Davidson.
my OBGYN rotation in Green Bay, like the houses are even painted green and gold. It's crazy.
Yes, they are.
That's
Wow,
not-
that's kind of
They're
cool.
completely nuts.
Yvette?
Aaron Rodgers tattoos.
Giants, and Giants.
All three.
Show us your drink.
Mhm.
Nice.
Do you,
I used to drink coffee out of that.
Manning still.
I had to pull
Manning retired.
is Eli Manning your favorite quarterback?
that. Yes.
Is he retiring or no?
No, he's retired.
Okay.
Mhm.
He is
And what
Melissa?
about you, Homer? Nick Foles or
Randall Cunningham.
They're all good. Nick Foles, Randall Cunningham, Jaworski, and Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Prasarchik. Sure.
I know that.
So who's your favorite? Which one do you go for? Who you pick?
I gotta
first?
go for the now. So I gotta go Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Melissa, we bought you a lot of time.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was going to say the Broncos because I spent my teenage years in Colorado. But then you mentioned the Bengals, and I have to go with that too because my aunt was a cheerleader for the Bengals.
Oh wow,
Wow.
I love that.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, I like to wear bangles.
Ah.
Like, obviously.
Wow.
Not those Bengals.
Jeff has turned.
Yeah, I know.
This is.
I know nothing about football.
You sound
my
like
color.
me talking about Orville.
Walk like it. You know, those Bengals. Like,
Now you know how I feel when they talk about Orville and Marie.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that come back on yet?
No.
No.
No? Oh.
Ryan,
I think
when
it's the
season
fall.
3 start?
There's been no oh yeah, okay. There's been no announcement yet.
Ryan asking.
Well, they post in the group every day, like when is season 3, and nobody
I
knows.
did want to congratulate Cirroc on his Orville face today when they were saying Orville and you're sitting there going, They kind of just drug on for a while, too.
Yeah.
I'm in my chair
Yeah.
going, he's not
That
watching.
again.
He's not watching it.
You should have
I didn't
seen
even-
Ryan's face when I said, "You mean that show with Seth Green?"
Yeah, I remember that.
So amazing.
Yeah.
He said,
What's his
Ryan
last
was
name?
like, "No,
Not that
not
one.
Seth Green, the other
no.
Seth.
What is his last name? It's not Green?
It's not
It's
green.
Seth MacFarlane." Yeah.
Farley. Okay, never mind.
Seth Rogen, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
don't mess me up now.
Hey, I got the first name right. Okay, it was Seth something. I knew that.
Was Seth?
Ryan's haircut's looking a little bit like Seth Green, though.
And I wonder why they haven't invited me on Orville.
You guys, I have the
Check your
worst.
Have
I have the
project.
worst news. Heather is unable to join, and she's claiming it's my fault again. If
Yes.
this is 2 weeks in a row,
Oh, you didn't send the link,
I
Ryan.
like
I did send the link, but like
It says
this
Ryan
thing,
removed me.
Yeah, but I didn't see.
And I said, oh, weird. Well, he sent you 3 invites, so I'm sure one of those links will get you back in.
Man, I am just glad that we are a continent apart because she's gonna
kick your butt.
Yeah, you're gonna hear about it.
She's missing football talk.
I know. No.
Yeah, I know.
So
and Aaron would say, Man
Who's
City.
Aaron?
Man City.
Yeah, that's
Aaron?
like the Chelsea one we hear over here, Kat.
Yeah.
All you
Man
smart
City.
asses. Football's an American sport.
So
America. Hey, I'm half and half. I get to have both.
Soccer is another sport.
Soccer.
Yes,
is a
Ryan?
non-American
Soccer.
well, I was trying to.
Even sock people. So what's even like? How did that even come about? That doesn't even make sense. Like
I'm listening
ball
to
and
you,
foot,
Ryan.
foot and ball.
No, it's okay, thanks. I'm just trying to send the link again to Heather to a
Oh,
5th time.
Wait,
You can do
But
it.
then in
you
just a
get your
second,
hot topic.
oh.
What does the shirt say? What does your shirt say?
Vendor, because all the stores are closed, but you can still order online. And then I've never even searched Star Trek merchandise in their search. I've searched everything else.
Good for Hot Topic.
I did, and I found a bunch of stuff, so we went.
What does the shirt say? Show us.
Oh, I love that.
It's amazing.
This
Oh, that's what
facility
we're
has
showing.
Assimilation.
yeah, it's
I mean,
Well,
how
I can't
they
wear
go
shorts.
together. They kind of go together, We're shimmy.
That's what
So,
she's doing, yeah.
for those of you listening in, she's wearing the shirt that's like what was posted on the board cube. This facility has gone blank days
Out.
without an
I
assimilation.
just want to know,
Like the OSHA sign.
Romulan walks around with chalk and is like, let me just update this sign.
One, add at least one.
Like Nerold/Narek is way above that pay grade.
Oh.
Narrow.
So I found some cool shirts. There's some cool Discovery shirts. There's cool Section 31 shirts now. On there.
Cool.
What did the Section 31 shirts say on them?
3 guesses.
Just blank.
Section 31.
Section 31.
They
It's
said
a secret. It's a
I'm
secret.
I'm undercover.
I'm undercover.
Yeah, they say not Section 31.
Not Section 31.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
add that.
pretty funny.
But when they come in the post, I'll add it on there just so it makes
Yeah.
sense.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. But they're great. They come in different colors, and there's a lot of the card ones with the Delta and the scenes from Star Trek Picard with Patrick Stewart and Jerry and everyone. From basically the poster that's screened onto a T-shirt. So if anyone is into the show and they want to have a big
Very cool.
card Delta, that'd be cool.
I
Okay.
like Melissa's shirt. I like the
Me
color on
too.
that one.
Oh, good.
I
I'm
love
glad.
it.
It's like a gray, right? It's like
It is a gray, and then a navy blue, dark navy blue paint, fabric paint.
Yep. It actually looks like he wrote on that shirt. It looks like it's written up.
Hello.
Awesome.
Well, look at that.
Well, who's coming to the meet?
Hey, we did it.
He does not look happy.
He's not happy.
No, I am on my
So-
phone right now because
Thank you all. Well, hang on
He
one second. Thank you all for
blocked me.
joining us on the 7th rule. No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody!
Best
Sorry,
episode
Heather.
yet.
somehow Ryan managed to
Almost
block
like-
me from the meeting.
Homer left. I was like,
Oh my
what time is
God.
it? Why
I
is it
just-
so late anyway?
You know what
Are
I
you
did?
blocking her on purpose, Ryan?
I
Is
just
this
spent
like
the
a-
last 10 minutes trying to find out how she was blocked and unblock her. So I turned off the waiting room thing, and I think that did it. And I resent the link, and apparently something finally worked.
No, well, I used my phone. I'm not on my computer. Normally, I use my computer, and I don't know. I still couldn't get in, even with the computer.
Turn your phone horizontally, if you could, please.
Oh,
So before we go into the very next thing I was about to bring up,
Right.
Heather, what's your favorite football team?
Oh man, I'm trying to look at the camera.
That's all you've missed so far.
Oh, she's
I don't have
upstate.
a favorite football team. I mean, like seriously, I'm not a football watcher. So
I thought this was like the easiest question we've ever
God,
had.
Homer
We
has
had
a
like 2
personalized
answers.
From whatever team is where you're from.
I do.
Is that a personalized? No way.
Yeah. There was actually a guy that played for the Eagles named Frizzell when Buddy Ryan was the coach, William Frizzell.
Really?
So I was like,
I
perfect.
know.
That is
It's really not
funny.
personalized because this was his number.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've been trying to get a
That's pretty
Will
awesome.
Blackmon,
That is pretty
jersey
awesome.
forever. I can't find it anywhere.
Just so you know, Ryan, my computer's still blocked from the meeting.
Sorry. You just missed football talk, and like I asked what your favorite football team is, and only 2 people had like an answer. Everybody.
That's football.
This is the
I
Star
don't
Trek
watch
chat,
it.
man. We're
I
not
know.
talking about football.
So we're gonna change the channel to the main meat of this free for all, which is what we talked about earlier in this episode a little bit. And Melissa gave us a hint on her shirt.
The pudding?
Our good friend, Mr. Aaron Eisenberg, as you know, left us a day before we were to begin reviewing season 2. And so as of today, we've done an entire season without him. And we're now beginning the next one. And it kind of made us want to like reflect on, you know, just like the last 7 months in the show. And we're talking about how we think and hope that he would have enjoyed where the show's going, and how all of you guys are always so supportive and friendly with one another, not just with us, but like you guys are sharing all of your side projects. And I know when Melissa gets her store up and running, she's going to need to have a lot of bandwidth because
I've been
everybody's going to jump
working on it. Been
I know,
working on it.
Melissa, send me a personal link so I can order my t-shirt.
I know, but I have to get it up. It's
Soon.
baby steps.
It's all
It's
soon.
taking
Heather, you didn't get yours?
So
We all got
long.
the link.
I know.
I got the link.
But guess what I did order? Guess what I did order?
Must be blocking you.
Cirroc's sister shirt.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
And
No
guess
way.
what color? Guess what color I ordered?
Oh.
Purple
I'd like
nurple.
to know.
Heather
It's
Gray.
called
Gray.
Heather Mint. Isn't
Heather-
that perfect?
Heather Mint.
Not Heather Gray?
No, no, it was there was Heather Gray, but I ordered the Heather Mint.
Heather Mint. That's the first one I've heard of
Twist.
the Heather Mint.
It's like a kind of like a minty green color. So I mean, it fits.
Well,
I
that's
figured it would
awesome.
look good with the red
I'm
hair.
really into the olive too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like the olive too. I mean, it's not my
I think
favorite
it's taking a
color.
while right now because of the
Yeah,
whole
that's what I was just about.
quarantine thing. It's a back order for it.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to
Our
say. It said
cosplay
10 to
outfits are
14
like
days,
that.
so hopefully.
Usually takes 3 days, 3 to 5 days, but now
Mine was real quick. I mean, it was
Yeah.
here before I knew it. I was really impressed.
She sent me an email.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was an automated email or if she sent it out personally.
no, she sends personal emails. Yeah,
Yeah, she
reaches
sent
out
me
to
a
everybody.
she sent me an email saying it was delayed due to like COVID. So
Due to Ryan. It was delayed.
yeah,
due
it
to
was due to
Deuteronomy. Sorry about that,
England got the
guys.
white ones, and she got a mug also, so that her sweatshirt, Eve England sweatshirt and mug match. They're really cool.
That's awesome.
Really?
It's white
Anne
and gold.
Marie is on top of everything.
She know. I told you. She knows everything. She's
She
an
got it all over
encyclopedia.
in Wales.
Yeah.
Even Kat said it under her breath. Anne Marie knows everything.
No, I just
no,
have
what she really said was
all
darn
of you
that
guys on
Anne
my
Marie.
phones.
Well, Kat is secretly on top of every episode title. Whenever we mention, we go, "Remember that episode?" And she
Oh my
knocks
God.
it out.
Even Voyager titles are
Yeah.
so difficult.
Voyager.
Like,
That's a real
Cat's amazing.
difficult one. I don't remember.
You know, I just need to
Did-
memorize the whole thing. That show I was.
Today she said I have to
literally
watch
lived in
About a
that
Girl.
world.
About a Girl
Yes,
is
my
amazing.
DS9 was above me. I was too young to understand that. I really love DS9. DS9 really is wonderful now for me because I understand it as an adult. But when I was 4 and 5, I
Yes.
didn't get it.
I do have to say it was very difficult, like sometimes in the episodes when you're little.
And now I've watched. I'm a few episodes ahead now, but I'm following along, and I just so good. Salome Jens is so good.
Excuse me.
Yeah, she's really
Yeah.
Did she
good.
say she was 4 or 5 when Voyager came on?
I know.
Yeah,
I was
Cat's
I
so
was
little.
5.
Yeah,
I
she's
just
younger
turned
than
30
us.
in March.
She's a young one.
30. I'm only
No, she's
30.
7 years younger than me. I just gave away my age.
So this.
Okay, Ryan.
So how about
Back to
this?
you.
Sorry. I just wanted to go around the proverbial room or the whatever this is, virtual room, and just kind of share any kind of Nog or Aaron story that you want, whether it's just something that you hadn't mentioned before, or it's a funny memory or something. Like, for example, I know that Melissa has been kind of practicing her baking like everybody else, that they're stuck at home. And it kind of made me think, like, what was there something specifically that Aaron liked the most that you cooked or baked? And was there something specifically that he just hated, like that he did not like that you made?
No, he never disliked anything that I made, but it would frustrate him because sometimes I don't follow a recipe. And so I wing it. And when I make something really good, he's like, "Oh, you got to make this again." And I'm like, if I can remember how I made it.
Can I ask, was Aaron also, you're vegan, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I'm vegetarian.
Was Aaron also vegetarian?
No, he was
not.
Mm-mm. But
would you cook him non-vegetarian food?
No, he wouldn't make him meat. But he was also good at trying vegetarian stuff as well. And he could cook too. He was a good cook.
He made eggs a lot, didn't he?
He made eggs a lot. He made pasta a lot. And then he started making these little tacos. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, these are so good."
What would he put in his taco?
His little street tacos with carne asada, beef. And he was like, "These are better than the restaurants. Why do I need to go out now? These are so good." Yeah.
Tacos are the best. They really are.
Tacos are great.
Let's have a Taco Tuesday or Taco Thursday. We should all come out with our tacos, because you can make some great vegetarian tacos too for our veggies out there.
Yeah.
And you know what? I love how my taco is avocado. Love avocado on my tacos. Gotta have it.
Tofu tacos.
But I think we should do that.
I love Mexican food, so I'm in for whatever. Let's talk about it a little bit. Yvette, do you have any Aaron or Nog thoughts that you just want to throw out there? You can also pass if anybody just wants to listen.
I don't know if I have a story, but I know that when I first got on here, I tried to, I'm not big on conventions. I just went to my first convention last year. I started going because I'm in law enforcement, so I don't like crowds. And I always need to be near the door. I was in the military, so I don't like all of that. And then my friends talked me into it, and they kind of put me in the back. They set up the booth in the back, so I was good with that. And then I went to Vegas. I was with you guys, but I kept walking around. I was like, should I say something? I was like, I can't go over and talk to these people. I don't know these people. But then unfortunately, when Aaron passed away, I came on and I was so upset with myself for not saying something and saying hello, because I really wanted to say hello, but I just felt ridiculous, saying something. I didn't really know you guys. But that's the one thing I regret, is that I didn't get to say hello to him and let him know how, because when In the Pale Moonlight came on, I was in the military. I had just gotten out, and I was in Bosnia. So I was injured over there. And, I deal with a lot of PTSD even now. So, Star Trek is that thing that kind of helps me out. Star Trek and running, because I get anxious now just even talking about it. But he helped a lot, because that story, the DS9 story, is very valid to vets. I don't know if you're not a vet, if you are a vet, you get that. We've been through that war situation, that not knowing that you sometimes feel like a coward, because if you're not there, you feel like a coward. Then when you go to the box, as we call it, you're scared to death, but you have to do what you have to do. And then you see things that you never thought you would see other human beings do to human beings. It's just, and then you have to come home and deal with it like nothing happened.
Nothing happened. like it was all just a movie or dream, and you were living in that, and then you
exactly. And then right after I got better, 9/11 happened.
Ugh.
And I work for the federal government, so I work in New York City, and I was there that day, so that just made it even worse. So, and it's those days where you could just be having a great day, and then all of a sudden that one day becomes so like you're watching a television show. Like 9/11, if I think about it, or if something comes to trigger, I can play that whole day from beginning to end. The clearness of the sky, the sounds, and it's the same thing when I was in Bosnia. Certain days where I can just hear everything. And, the only show that really got it, I think, was DS9 when it was those last 10 episodes. All of that stuff, because I work in a lot of different places with the military where I was on the ground and I was in the back. So I saw a lot of that. So it helped a lot. And I really wanted to talk to him about that. But I'm like, he's an actor. Does he really know? But after he passed away, I said, I really should have said something, because then he would have understood how he really helped just the character, playing it well. I'm sure he's never been through that, but he played that character very well, and it helped a lot of vets, because we talk about it a lot in our meetings. Vets love Star Trek. We talk about it a lot. When I first went in, we used to always have our little novels. We would read out little novels when we go to basic training, So, Star Trek is everything to a lot of vets. So, I wish I would have said something to him, honestly. I do regret. That's a big regret that I have.
Malissa, Aaron would always say that people would tell him that kind of stuff like all the time, very specific stories, similar, and he loved it every time, right?
He loved engaging with vets and talking to them and how it helped him. And he would often say that he didn't approach it as playing he had PTSD, but he drew from experiences in his own life, dealing with kidney issues from a very young age. And so he just approached it as honestly as he could, as any human being would approach a traumatic experience. And he would have loved to talk to you. It would not have been silly, and he would have spent hours talking to you, even if there was a long line waiting to talk to him. He would take that time and talk to you because he appreciated the work that you did too. And it filled him up in a way that I can't explain, that he would have loved to talk to you.
You better stop, Malissa.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, he would have. He always seemed and said that he was so moved by it. Like he never got used to it. Like it wasn't like sometimes some actors go like, we've heard stories where they're like, oh yeah, I've heard this story before, but he never. Yeah, right. He never got jaded. Every single time he appreciated it, was moved by it.
Yeah, and I also want to add to that. When he gets a chance to hear stories like the one you tell. I think he got his own strength from hearing those stories. I think it made him feel just as much comfort as you felt from watching the episodes. I think he gained comfort from knowing that it helped people. And that was his greatest joy. I think the greatest compliment that he could receive as an actor was knowing that somebody like you, Yvette, was touched by his performance and it was real to you. Definitely. Just like it was real for him. So I think that's one of his greatest compliments. He always lit up when somebody said that's what it meant to them.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow. No, that's really good. And I think the reason we're just telling you this stuff, Yvette, is because not to be like, oh, you should have told him, and because you already feel that way, but just to know that he would have definitely received it well, and he would have definitely not just received it well, but appreciated that you told him and appreciated what you've done. And, he would have been very happy had you done it. It's okay that you didn't.
Yeah. My story is a little similar to Yvette's in the sense that it's a regret moment. And that is, Melissa, you remember this. Aaron was asking me to go to do that convention that they have in Hawaii with him.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to get the chance to go and do that. I thought it was going to be great to be able to, do a convention with just the two of us and be in Hawaii of all places. I thought we were going to have a great time. But I was up for this role, for this really important role that I wanted. And the film date was coinciding with this convention date. And I told Aaron I can't make it. And I told the people at the convention that I couldn't make it because I was worried about it conflicting with this movie. And in hindsight, he passed away before that convention ever happened, and I don't know. I just felt like if I had accepted it, and maybe things would have changed. I don't know why I feel that way, but I just feel like I should have done that convention with him.
You at least lucked out in that you went down to Comic-Con with him just 2 months prior, right? And you had that great rebonding time with him.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was going to be the last time, but
That was the
last time I would spend time, with him at a convention.
Well, there was Star Trek Las Vegas, but it was a short amount of time.
Never at his table, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I cherish those moments, and that last creation convention was, special for me for that purpose.
Anne Marie, the Encyclopedia of Star Trek.
There's just so many, I think everything was so cherished. And I know I've talked a lot about it anyway on the show, but I do have to say, he was already such an amazing person to me and such an amazing Star Trek character. And when I met him, well, first of all, I have it screenshotted when he welcomed me to the No J Consortium, which was so special. But I used to text him because then after he started doing that, where if you became a Patreon, he would send you a special message. I would then see it pop up on Facebook and other groups that he never saw that were Nog just welcomed me to his Patreon page, and it just made my commute. And so every time I saw that, I'd screenshot it to him and be like, "See, you just made all these people's day." He just touched so many lives in even such minor ways that really made us all smile. And I know I've said it before, but I was also just so impressed when I got to Las Vegas, and I literally had met him a second, and he was on his way upstairs with Melissa to go to bed, and I overheard him asking, I think Homer and John to make sure that I got back to my room okay, and it just was it really speaks so highly of him as a human that he was always making sure everybody around him was always very safe and secure and having a good time. It was just very touching.
Do you remember that, Homer?
I do.
Nice.
Which was
Barely.
lucky,
But yes.
because Homer and John were very good bodyguards.
Yeah, they were awesome. Do you want to go next, Homer?
Not really.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah.
I can. These are tough acts to follow. For me, I guess it's going to be more on the side of regret as well. So I got to spend a lot of time in Vegas with him, and we're kind of going back and forth about when I might be able to join them for dinner. Dinner didn't end up happening because I had something else that conflicted with it. So there was a lunch or brunch at the Hash House. It was this big group there. So not exactly a vegetarian type of place, really. The regret is that I didn't get something personalized from him. We had lots of conversations. I almost felt like I was stopping by his table too often. But now I'm wishing that I had actually stopped by more often. And he talked about the seventh rule poster, and it was that big. I was like, oh, it's too big, because he was all set to sign that. I was like, no, it's too big. Now, of course, I'm wishing that I had done that. And I have to get the door, excuse me.
Okay.
Well, I do
Rex-
have to say, I got a poster because I was getting a bracelet for Melissa, and it was like the 1 second that Aaron didn't have somebody talking his ear off. So I keep trying to poster, but Cirroc, of course, wasn't there. So I'll have to bring it back.
Of course.
Yes, Cirroc was there
What?
about
I
30
wasn't there?
seconds.
That's
So
weird. Must have been a
I'll have to go
bathroom
back
break.
and, like,
You didn't
yeah,
see
yeah.
the sign on my table? I'll be back at some point.
No, James Darren was like, yeah, I don't know the last time I saw him.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Homer, was there more to that story?
Yeah. So then I'm going to put it in the other side of things, and something that I really, really enjoyed was playing World of Warcraft with him when we had the gaming tier. And he's like sending me a message through Discord saying, "Hey, are you free? You know, I have this time here if you'd like to join up." And I had some missions with my character, or Toon, I guess. I'm not sure what the cool kids say. And he had this high-level healer. I think it was Nurse Ratched, which is sort of based on you guys
The other
know.
Nurse Ratched? Yeah.
Well, Ratched instead of Ratchet, I think.
Ratchet.
So, so Louise Fletcher,
Ratchet.
her character.
Yes, we just watched that movie.
And he's using all these terms like, we got to get you geared up. I was like, I don't even know what that means. It's your Heart of Azeroth level. I was like, ah. And then we're in these conflicts. He's stuff. Okay, follow the tank. Go where the tank goes. Okay, don't draw aggro or something. And then he's typing on his keyboard like super loud. Almost, well, actually, as loud as my wife does, which is loud.
Gosh. It'll be like bang, 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 bang,
It's
bang.
amazing. It's so loud. I was like, wow, he must go through keyboards like nobody's business.
I remember
I
that.
enjoyed that, and I think I said this before, but he's like, "Oh, is it bothering you? I could mute myself if you want." Like the noise from his keyboard was bothering you that much. It wasn't, but it was really, really nice that he.
You could always tell when he was like really furiously going at something in a battle because he was just like,
Yeah, when
you'd
he's-
hear it just get louder.
healing people. It's like, yeah, and I died a couple times because he had to keep the tank alive, but that's fine.
I can't believe I forgot that. Oh,
Yeah. Loud
Heather?
typer.
That's good.
Very loud.
Heather, do you have something to share besides his loud? It sounds like Melissa's laughing because she heard his loud typing.
She
All
knows
the
a lot
time.
about that loud typing.
We share an office, and when he was playing World of Warcraft, especially, yeah, it'd be like, babe, simmer down now, simmer down. But yes, loud typer.
Heather, do you have something you'd like to?
oh man, you know, I like it's so hard to pinpoint one specific thing. Like, I mean, I just remember my most precious memories are honestly like when I get on the videos with you guys, and like you would start, you know, messing with me or making fun of my background or something silly, and I just remember like all those moments. But I did go back and look at one message I sent to Aaron on my Facebook Messenger, and I'm going to read it verbatim.
Nice.
It said, I was going to tell you earlier that you calling me Jordan isn't as bad as when I keep calling you Nog. Since your name is Nog in Discord, I keep saying it. And he just sent me like 3 crying emojis because I kept referring to him as Nog in Discord. And I'm like, it's not Nog, it's Aaron.
So was that his way of getting back at you, calling you Jordan?
I don't think he even noticed me calling him Nog, but he called me Jordan. I think it was on a phone call. He was like, oh, Jordan. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But, you know, like, because he called me a couple times just to talk about the Seventh Rule stuff, and it was just like always like he was just so always concerned to make sure that everyone like was like, you know, that it was just always going good. Like he never wanted anything to go wrong. He never wanted people to like ever get like, you know, offended or anything. And so like that's just what I tell people now is that, and I say the same for you and Ryan, or Cirroc and Ryan, is that Aaron never made me feel like a fan. He never made me feel like I wasn't as, famous as him or big as him. Like, he talked to me just always like I was part of the team. And that's what I love about the seventh rule, is there isn't that, oh, I'm the fan, I'm the producer, and you guys are just, or I'm sorry, that you guys are the producer and I'm the fan. It was never that relationship.
Aaron used to do that, by the way, with everybody. So he didn't talk to the producers like they were the producers. He didn't talk to the other actors like they were another actor. He was straight across the board, talked to everybody the same way. Didn't matter who you were. If he wanted to lay you on with a joke or pull your card, he'd pull your card. Didn't matter who you were.
Even though I'm still like, I'm hanging out with the cool boys on the promenade. But I do have to say also, like, one of the first things I started, like, annoying Ryan about in all my messages was every time Aaron would talk about Melissa and what Melissa thought during episodes on Alpha Quadrant, I thought what was always missing from that show was having Melissa come on herself and tell us what she was thinking during all the episodes, because it was just so adorable when Aaron would, like, talk about all of your responses and what you said and what you said that made him think more. So one of the first things I started nagging Ryan about was, we need to have Melissa on the show. Like, so it's always very lovely to have you on.
And I was always like, no,
no,
stop asking me.
No.
I said no.
We don't like her.
But that's a good point, because Aaron would always say, Melissa brought up a good point, and she was watching the episode, she thought this, and I kind of think that too. And he would always do that. I love that about him.
Yeah.
His mom says the same thing. She would say, he called me up and tell me about a problem he's having, and then he was like, well, Melissa says the same thing, so maybe I should listen.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
it was so sweet to listen.
You were like his conscience. You're always
on
there.
my shoulder saying this.
It was secretly Melissa talking to everybody online.
I love the two of you together, by the way, Melissa. I thought you brought out just the best in Aaron, and it was so good, the chemistry between the two of you guys. You made him less of a jerk.
Huge jerk that he was.
That's so sweet. Aw.
Was that sweet? No, because he sometimes could just push your buttons sometimes. But Melissa, you softened him up, and you made him really. I just thought you guys were a perfect couple, and you were so cute together. I really enjoyed watching you guys together.
Well, thanks.
Where's your Melissa, Cirroc? You need one.
I'm still looking for her.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Rex?
I'm still looking
I don't think he got
Melissa.
that.
Save us, Rex.
Okay.
Please, Rex, something. Say something.
So we will be advertising the number later for any.
Not that.
Ladies want to apply.
Oh, you didn't get the part where she called him a jerk.
Cutting to my Negus.
That was
Negus.
just a little subtle shade, just a little bit, but it was a joke.
I caught it though. New York, I got you.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we're ready. We're ready for you, Rex.
So, there it is.
I mean, my story
I
is
love
real
you.
similar to Yvette's story, except on the other swing towards fire department, stuff like that, and with my losing both my legs. And that's probably how I really got connected with Aaron a little bit more, because I sent a text or an email to him, and he actually replied. And that sometimes doesn't happen with celebrities. Somebody else is doing their stuff for them. And he asked me a lot of questions. And of course, the actual episode came up, and we talked about that. And I told him how much that he, how well he did with that, how he portrayed, somebody losing their leg, and what you go through, thinking that you're useless, thinking that you don't belong anymore, that parts of your body are missing, and it was really a good conversation with him about that. but he was always concerned. He would always ask me how I was doing because we talk about phantom pains. Okay, and phantom pains are one of those things that anybody that loses a limb lives with the rest of their lives. So you still feel like it's there. Just like if you know in the episode, he did the same thing. He had the pain. The other thing that we talked about is how in the episode, you know, the doctors didn't believe him that he had the pain. It was all in his head, you know, and where it's a real thing, where you know, phantom pains are a real thing. So we talked a lot about that. The things that I regret the most is I never got to meet him in person, you know, but you felt like you did. That's the weirdest thing, is that if you did meet him in person, just by talking to him, you know, he would make you feel like you had met 1,000 times, you know? Yeah. The other thing I regret is not getting to play the games with him, because since I wasn't into games so much, he would constantly be going, I gotta find time to play with you. We gotta find time to do this. I'll even play something really simple, you know, and things like that. If we never got together like that, but he's like, you know, I can, you know, we'll do something really easy for you. And I'm like, I'm just not a video game person. And he just always was concerned, since I am a patron, that he was spending time. Okay. And I think that was with all of us. We all realized that he was really concerned that all the patrons were getting time with him. You know, I always felt like that. You'd always see that in him, was that I want to make sure that each person feels like they're getting some time with me. So those are some great things about him. You know, I have the picture back here that I told you my friends in Las Vegas did, since I couldn't be there. They took the little mask of me and put it over their face and stood with him in a picture to make sure that I was actually in a picture with him. And so I have this great wall that has Aaron's stuff on it. And that's probably the centerpiece there, is that I got to be with him somehow. And that's how it was done. So it's great. It's great. Absolutely. Yep. So that's my stuff.
Well, also something I want to say, Rex A. Wood, is thank you for your service very much. Yvette Blackmon, thank you so much for your service. And
Cat R. King.
That's right, which brings us to Cat R. King. Number one, thank you for your service. And would you like to tell us a story?
I think everyone covered it. It's all good. We're good.
Wow, you guys made Cat speechless.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a first. Well, well, I can tell you that he loved you a lot, Kat, because when we were looking for our Trek techs, he's like, dude, you know Cat R. King? I was like, oh yeah, maybe. He's like, she's gonna be at the DS9 documentary thing. She's gonna be there. You gotta, you know. So he was really excited for us to meet.
I'll say this. That was the
all right.
My favorite moment from that was just when we were talking about Cirroc was sharing the story about his first convention at Grand Slam, and my friend Alan and I were up there sitting right behind Rod, and like we were right behind them, being so obnoxious. And then because Aaron, you know, we know that Aaron has this tremendous spirit, and I'm a kindred spirit because I talk a lot too. So, you know, and you can see that Aaron always, you can watch the struggle of Aaron constantly trying to give people, you know, give the floor to other people, but then wanting to share and always being so full of, you know, and I relate so much to that. So that was so great just to share that. My regret is, like anyone else, is just saying the wow, I just did not get into the gaming thing. I didn't make it in time. I always thought there would be more time, and that's the trouble. We always think that we have more time, and that for me was the first of, that was the 7th person who had passed away I knew was close to at that point. So, I mean, we lost one of the gentlemen who was on the project Abaddon with us. He died just before Aaron, and so we lost somebody that was on our project. So for me, it was like just everything that Yvette said about, and Rex has shared about being in the military. I don't know how else to echo any of that, except that I think about it every day.
Okay, well, we're way over time, but before we go, that one of my favorite things that was said was when, Kat, you said that Aaron would do that struggle between, he had so many things to say, but he also realized and was trying to let the other person talk. Melissa, you probably saw that like all the time.
Every single day. Every day. But yeah. But he was very conscious of, you know, not over talking. He's like, did I talk too much? Did I steal microphone? Did everyone get a chance to speak? And he was very conscious of his ability to vocalize.
I wish Aaron got into politics, and I think he would have been a great politician. You know, he actually cares about people. He actually listens to your point of view. You know, I think he would have been a good politician.
Well, yeah, we talked about that, and people had mentioned you should get into politics, and I agree with him as to why he didn't get into politics, because he's an empath. He was an empath, and so whatever people gave to him, he took that in and absorbed it, and that would be way too stressful for him. Politics
to have that many problems laid on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Eisenberg Lofton 2024, man.
Yeah, the No J Consortium. We're coming back. Don't worry.
Settle for less than the best.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we better run. This went really well. I'm glad everybody was able to make.
I learned a lot about you guys too, man. Thank you for sharing some of those stories, man. I really got to know more about you guys, and you know, that's what we're here for, to learn each other and grow with each other. Yvette, you shared some really interesting stories, kind of give me a better understanding of, you know, who you are. And Rex, you opened my eyes to a few things. So I'm just glad that we're all here together and kind of in this journey together.
And I know Aaron would be super proud of the legacy that he left with Ryan and Cirroc. They're doing such a good job. I love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, the people I consider my closest friends right now in my life are you guys from the 7th row. Like, you know, I talk to Homer and John and Anne-Marie and Kat all the time on Facebook, and I text
such a
Kat.
chatty Kathy.
I know. But like, you know, like we have a group chat that's all of us, we call it the 7th Real Chat. It's not, you know, it's just a group of, I think there's like 6 or 7 of us in there. And we just kind of say, hey, how's everybody doing? Talk about the 7th Rule, talk about Star Trek. Like, hey, did you watch Picard yet? You know, like, you know, we just kind of hang out. And that's the people that I consider my closest friends right now are the people involved with the 7th Rule, including Ryan and Cirroc.
Yeah, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for you guys. And, you know, one of the big decisions we had to make when Aaron passed was whether we continue to go forward or just let it go there. Right. And I'm glad that we went and kept moving forward, because it's all of us that are getting our own little healing out of this, you know. So thank you to everybody. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Homer. Thanks, Rex. Thanks everybody, you know. Heather, Kat. Everybody's been amazing and supportive, and I couldn't see it any other way. You guys are I look forward every week to meeting up with you guys and talking Trek.
I thought you were going to say talking trash.
That too.
Also,
you do more of the trash talking.
Yeah, I know. Also, thanks to Homer, I just realized you have that cool Grand Negus staff behind you. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
Well, nice. I brought it back up because of the drawing.
Yeah, he busted it out.
That's why I didn't
notice. See that?
Such a good drawing.
Compare.
And Rex has the Defiant. This was the Defiant's very first appearance.
Absolutely.
Very apropos. And also special thanks to Melissa, because whether she realizes it or not, she's kind of like, you know, our light, you know, our little guiding light, and we really appreciate that.
And a symbol for strength too, as well, because you've been very strong throughout all this, and we appreciate that, you being strong for us.
Thanks.
It gives us another look at the other side of Aaron too, having you on, having those little tidbits to share.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although next time we want to see Mochi the cat make an appearance.
Go get him.
And I won't ask sports questions. I learned my lesson there.
Yeah, no more sports questions.
That's fine. I'm ready to talk baseball.
Okay.
Next week. Not this time. Not this time.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. We got much more to talk about, so we will in future episodes. And for everybody at home, thank you all for doing this journey with us. Here comes season 3 coming at you. And always remember the 7th rule.